I'm Alex.
And I'm Kris, and you're watching
Thanks! We Hate It with Alex and Kris. Alright. Oh, I am very excited.
Big episode today.
So excited. I probably say that like every episode. Like, I'm so excited. Sorry.
We like what we do.
Yeah, I just like talking. I could talk about this for the rest of my life.
We
and
like
people
to
would hate me.
talk shit.
But yeah, absolutely. We are doing worst horror films. At least, subjectively.
To us.
Yeah, it's, I tried to stay away, kind of like we did in the previous episodes.
Right.
I kind of tried to stay away from the ones that are obviously bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I'm trying to kind of stick to, like, bigger box office stuff. I do have a couple that aren't, and there's one in specific that I absolutely, like, have to bring up because I'm not entirely sure what this was. So
it's always a good reason to be like, I hate this.
Honestly. Alright, my first on the list is, this is my third time mentioning it because I hate this movie so fucking much. Drag Me to Hell. Sam Raimi! I won't let it go. I won't let it go.
This is the hill she's dying on,
I
guys.
am. Like, I'm sorry. Like, Sam Raimi is so fucking brilliant. And then he produces and makes this garbage. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I just, ultimately, to me, he made a forgettable movie. Yeah. So, I don't hate it. I don't like it. I'm indifferent because I don't even remember it. So.
Right. I have a family, I have a family member who, like, loves that movie. And I remember once, like, it was like some holiday or whatever, and they were playing it on the TV, and I was like, Jesus Christ. And they're like, you've never seen Drag Me to Hell? And I was like, oh, I've seen it, and it's shite.
It's time to start disowning people.
Right? And I was like, this is a garbage film. And he's like, are you serious? It's like one of the best ones. I'm like, you're wrong, but that's okay.
It's okay for you to be wrong. Right. It's fine. All right,
let's go.
My number 5 is Lights Out. Okay. And here's why. This proves that as we just said, big budget does not make a better film. No. Because I adored the short.
So good.
I love the short.
It's excellent.
And then David F. Sandberg, he got money because the short blew up, and expanded the idea. Like, I wish he had gotten that money and just made a different movie rather than expand on that idea, because it was just, guys, it was so boring. It was so boring.
It really was. I remember
so boring.
I watched it, I think, like, I just watched it at home one night because I was like, I really like the short film, so I'll give this a shot. And it's just very forgettable, very just slow moving. Like, it just
bad.
I wasn't vibing with it.
It's because it's a one gag thing, and so you didn't need anything more than that short to get that point across, to get that story across.
Right.
And I saw it in theaters, but I saw it for free as part of like a special preview thing before it even came out. And I'm glad I saw it for free, because I'd have been pissed if I had paid money to go see this movie.
Yeah, money you'll never get back.
Yeah, and that's why I picked it, because it does symbolize, easily, my number 5 was going to be I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, but like you with talking about, they're tired of us talking about this movie, like, I feel like I've brought up many times over many shows on this channel that I hate I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, so it's clear that that's a bad movie. So that's why I picked Lights Out at number 5, because it just, it didn't need to happen. Like, that movie doesn't need to exist.
You're absolutely right. The point got across, and there was just enough energy and enough substance for that short film. Yeah. That's all you needed, and it's clearly the reason why it blew up is because that's all you needed in like 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes, that's okay. That's okay. And I'm actually a big fan of films that are only like 50 minutes.
Right.
I love them because it's to the point, and it's filled with enough substance, no fluff, and they're enjoyable.
They are.
I like them. So I think making movies a little shorter, isn't a bad idea.
Sometimes it doesn't hurt. It does benefit the idea. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's my number 5.
My number 4 is Rubber. What the fuck? Like, look, I'm all about, like, weird, like, weird things are my shit, obviously. I mean, if you haven't really been able to tell in the past couple episodes, I love really weird, obscure things like that, so I was really excited when Rubber came out, and I was like, this looks so fun and quirky, you know, and I watched it and I was like, what?
This is what our killer looks like.
I just thought it was really dumb. I was like, this, you tried to make a horror movie about a tire, and that's just, I feel like that doesn't work. I really feel like it doesn't work. Like, that's not quirky, that's just odd.
Again, shorter is better, because remember in, what was it, Final Destination 4, when the tire comes? Like, that's all you need for a killer tire movie. Like,
yep.
It shouldn't be a whole movie.
No, it fucking shouldn't. It was, again, just the same shit over and over. And to be fair, you know, a lot of movies like that are, you know, that was, I guess, technically a slasher type.
Yeah.
It is a lot like that, but there's a difference between having something just super boring and then having something with a little bit of substance to it.
Right.
Like, I feel like Friday the 13th series is a really good example of that, where it's like all the kills are super different and the characters are you know, can be quirky or super boring. And it's easy to laugh and make fun at, obviously.
It's fun.
But with Rubber, I couldn't really do it with that.
Not fun.
No, it was one of those where it's like, I just don't find this fun, like all the other, like, shitty sequels of, like, Friday the 13th, you know, where you can always laugh at it. But I was like, no,
there's a difference between a bad movie and a bad movie.
Right.
Like, a bad movie, you can still find some entertainment value in.
Yes.
A bad movie is just bad. There's no saving it.
No, like, there's no redemption. So, yeah, Rubber blows, man. I hate it.
I concur.
All right, what's your number?
My number 4 was the House of Wax remake. And no, not because of Paris Hilton. Because honestly, she did fine considering that all the other actors sucked in this movie too.
Yes, I almost put that on my list. Sorry for the record.
I don't completely hate this movie. Like, I can watch it. It's watchable.
Sure.
But the coolest thing about this movie is all the stuff that's made out of wax. Like,
fuck yeah.
That stuff is amazing. The set people did fantastic.
And to be fair, too, like, some of it was, like, super terrifying. Like, the scene where the guy is at the piano and his friend is trying to
pulling the face off.
And you could see, like, the tear coming.
Yeah.
Okay, that was terrifying.
That was good.
Ooh.
But here's my problems. Bo, I don't know. Bo and Vincent are the bad twins, and Bo is just he's not a good villain. Like,
it's it's a little bit of a ripoff of, like, Texas Chainsaw in a way.
Yeah, a little bit.
And it didn't work.
It didn't work. And then, like I said, you've got a who's who of the WBCW stars in this movie. You've got Chad Michael Murray. You've got Jared Padalecki before he went off to Supernatural fame.
Oh, right.
But after Gilmore Girls fame.
Right. Yeah.
And none of them, and they're all talented. I've seen them all do well in other things. Even Jared Padalecki, I did not like his character Dean in Gilmore Girls, but he acted fine. Like, his acting was good. It's like none of them were given direction in this movie.
No.
Like, I don't know. None of them are acting at their best. So again, Paris Hilton kind of just blends right in.
For sure.
She's not terrible.
You know, what's funny that you bring up Paris Hilton is I actually almost put her as one of, like, the worst casting choices for our casting choices episode. Right, and the reason why I didn't was because exactly like you said, all of them together just, it kind of meshed, and I can't really point out who, you know, like, I can't single out Paris Hilton because to be fair, like, Paris Hilton, like, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna defend her a little bit. Know, she's trying, and she genuinely, you can tell she genuinely likes being in films, and and even, like, I think of her every time in Repo the Genetic Opera.
Love that movie.
Love that movie. That is the holy grail of musicals in my mind. Right. Anyway, but Paris Hilton, yes. Oh, I love him. But Paris Hilton was excellent in that.
She was.
She did a great job. Does she have a great singing voice? Not really, but she tried, and I think she killed it. Yeah, I do. So I'm gonna defend Paris Hilton here.
Yep. There's nothing wrong with her. That's not why. It's because it's just a mess of a movie. And B. Here's my biggest problem with this. The twins, the good twins that we're supposed to be rooting for, Eliza Cuthbert and Chad Michael Murray, play twins. they have more physical chemistry than she does with Jared Padalecki, who's supposed to be playing her boyfriend. Like, I thought I was going to watch these twins bone at some point. Like, it is nuts. It is so uncomfortable, the chemistry. I don't know if they were dating at the time, like, in real life or something, but, like, the chemistry between those two is so awkwardly horrible because they're twins. And you're like, are they gonna kiss? Like, what is going on here?
I would have almost preferred them to be a couple.
Right,
honestly.
yeah.
Like, I feel like, honestly, that probably would have worked better for the story, but, what do I know?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a little bit of a mess, for sure.
And I think I put it on the list because I did have such high hopes for it. Because I do like the original with Vincent Price. And
of course.
I was looking forward to this because it was a who's who of these actors. And I watched all those WB shows.
Oh, yeah.
So, I was excited for this. And then I think I got disappointed at the end. It just disappointed me.
I do have to say the least disappointing part of that movie was the end when they played My Chemical Romance as Helena. And I remember watching it and when that came on I was like, okay, that's the only redeeming quality. The credits where they played My Chem. So
no, like I said, the wax stuff was cool. Some of the makeup was cool, the makeup effects. Like Paris Hilton's head going through the pipe was cool.
Oh, great. Yeah.
It's just the story. The story was not good. It felt like the script needed another pass through, maybe.
Definitely.
And like I said, after Star Wars, incestuous siblings is a little... It's a little much. Yeah. It's unnecessary.
We didn't ask for this, Yeah,
I didn't ask for you to do that to me, Eliza Cuthbert and Chad Michael Murray. So there's where it is.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Number 3.
I have Blood Diner.
I don't think I've seen this one.
Yeah, I watched it recently because I'd never heard of it, and I was kind of going through horror movies on Hulu, and it popped up, and I was like, okay, that sounds hella fun. I'm gonna watch it. You can tell it's a little bit of like I don't want to use the word ripoff, maybe like an homage to Blood Feast, the Herschel Gordon Lewis film. I believe in the 60s. That movie was very profound for that time, and it really sent a lot of shockwaves. But a very, very important piece of cinema for slasher grindhouse type of film. So I was really excited, being like, oh man, it's an homage to this awesome fucking, profound film. But no, like they had like this story with like these two boys and like their uncle was like some sort of like, he was like some sort of spiritualist. I don't want to necessarily go like straight to like devil worshiper or anything, but he was involved in some spiritual occult things. And as the boys like got older, somehow like this uncle got brought back, just and his brain is in a jar, and his brain is the one talking, and it's like the dynamic between these two boys and this uncle is so weird, because at the beginning you see the uncle being like, I love you guys are so great. And then, like, as the movie progresses, all of a sudden he's like, you idiots, and kind of like this, like, camaraderie, kind of like Texas Chainsaw with the Sawyers, like, look what you did now, type of thing. And it didn't work. It was just really weird. I was really confused as to how these relationships really are, and it was, I just didn't really know what was going on through most of it. Like, they were trying to get, bodies for like this feast of like an Egyptian god, which was kind of the same as Blood Feast,
What the hell is this movie?
Yeah, it's not, it didn't work, and it's just not a great homage. It really isn't, and I'm not saying that because, of the whole like, I like the original better type of bullshit, right. But it just, if you separate the two, it's just not good. It's just not good.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I hated it.
Fair enough. Well, that's why it's on the list.
Yep. For sure.
Thanks. She hated it.
So bad. All right.
My number 3, and I like yours that you said, okay, I bring this up all the time. We've brought this up so many times. But guys, Texas Chainsaw 4. I can't. And I can't guarantee this is the last time we're going to bring it up either. But
No, it won't be.
guys, I can't. It's so bad. Go watch it so that I'm gonna go the opposite way. I told you last episode or some episode, don't waste your time on I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer because you'll never get that time back. But I'm gonna just go ahead and say, watch this movie. Watch Texas Chainsaw 4 because you need to understand when people talk about how batshit crazy bad this movie is. You have to understand.
It's a good laugh. Like, really. Like, honestly, if you want to have, like, fun and if you want to, you know, like, get real weird and real drunk with your friends,
right?
You know,
yeah,
like,
maybe get real
it.
drunk and then watch it.
Yes, it's hilarious.
There's not one redeeming quality in this movie at all.
What is it, Renee Zellweger? Oh my god!
Right. I mean, they take. You've already got a family of cannibals. You've got Leatherface. Then you add that they're working with the government. Then you add in the Illuminati. Like, what is this?
It's a fucking disaster. I swear to God, they were like writing the script as they were filming it.
And because he's supposed to be a transvestite or something in this one, his mask doesn't even look like human skin at this point.
No, it looks like pure latex.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. So you don't even have good makeup or anything at this point.
And
like,
it barely involved him.
It really did.
Barely.
And the scene at the end where they try to mimic the first one where he's going crazy in the sun is just it's bad, guys.
Just yuck.
It's just yuck.
But it's fun to get drunk to.
It's fun to be mad at this movie. Like,
yeah. There are some movies you just have to watch knowing how shitty it is and knowing how you can't really bear it if you're sober. You
like
know?
this, that's why I'm gonna say watch this one, because unlike I Always Know What You Did Last Summer, that one is bad but also just boring. Like there's no reason you don't enjoy yourself at all. But this one is just so batshit crazy that the whole time you'd be like, what?
Right.
Like, all right, so yeah, we've already said everything bad about this movie in so many episodes, and I'm sure we'll talk more about it in future episodes.
Yep.
As it fits the bill.
It does.
So yeah, let's move on. Number 2.
My number 2 is The Happening.
Yeah.
God damn it, guys. You know, like it's what is this? What is this movie? Like, I gotta be real. At first, I was kind of digging it.
What? No.
But then when it got to the part where, like, they find the house in, you know, like, in the middle of nowhere, and there was, you know, some character stuff happening, and then all of a sudden they're outside and they're not affected by the wind. All of a sudden you're not affected. It doesn't make you murderous.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna be real too. Like, a lot of M. Night Shyamalan's films,
I don't like him.
What a twist!
yeah, a lot of his films, I can't really get behind them. Signs was good, but it wasn't like it's not one of my favorites. Really, his films in general, I
don't like any. I can't think of one that I like. The Village.
Yeah.
The Village. I went and saw The Village in theaters, and I swear it was like 10 minutes into the movie I called what the twist was going to be. I was like, they're going to be modern day living in the forest preserve. And sure enough, it was modern day. They were living in a forest preserve.
What a twist!
I don't like any of his movies. I didn't like Sixth Sense. I
wasn't a fan of that one either.
I don't like his work.
It's to a point where it's not necessarily a twist. You're just straight up lying to the audience. You know, it's like there's a difference between the two, and I feel like he crosses that threshold sometimes.
And the twists are kind of, like I said, easy to call. Like, especially because you're going into his movies expecting a twist. So I went in The Village already expecting a twist. Well, they're old-timey people living in the woods. What could the twist be? Huh? They're modern. It's modern day. It's not hard to figure out his movies.
What a twist!
All right, what you got?
My number 2 is both of them, but specifically Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie.
Okay.
With the passion of 1,000 suns, hate the Rob Zombie Halloween movies.
Yes.
I hate them.
Garbage.
He ruined he made them not scary. He just made them brutal. That's all he did.
And he made them exploitation, like.
Yeah, very brutal, very exploitation, especially, and I can't remember now whether it was in the extended deleted scene version or if it was in the theatrical version, but, like, there's a rape scene in this movie. Like, unnecessary.
It was really fucked up, too. I was like, what? Why is this in here?
Exactly. Yeah. But the biggest problem I have with it, beyond all that, because you expect that kind of bullshit in a Rob Zombie movie, I guess. But what pisses me off is that he gave Michael an origin story, because that takes away all of the fear.
Right.
All of what makes Michael scary. The fact that he was a child from a middle-class family who had no reason to go insane and kill people, went insane and killed people. Like, that is what is scary. When you give an explanation for things, that takes away what makes them scary.
I agree. Yeah. You know, and of course with, you know, a lot of slasher films like that, sometimes it works. You know, like you look at like the dynamic of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know, in a sense that works because you can see the dynamic of the characters. Right. It's not necessarily an origin story. It's just this is the type of family. And I could see where he might have been trying to portray that, but it didn't work, man.
Right. You see this kid from this shitty family who is bullied at school, who you see him torture animals. It's like, well, no shit, that kid's gonna grow up to be a murderer. Like, duh. Right. Like, what else is he supposed to grow up to be? Like, there's no fear in his movies. It's all brutal and exploitation, and that's all they are. Yeah. And then you get to the second one. What the fuck even is that? Like, it's not a movie. It's a series of images. Right. Like, the stuff with Sherry Moon and the dream stuff with the horse. I can't. What is it? It makes me so angry because, again, if you watch this channel at all, you know that I love the Halloween series. I will live and die by the Halloween series. Man. So these two movies make me so irrationally angry that I can't even. I'm gonna go full white girl. I can't even.
I totally get it. Like I'm gonna be real. Rob Zombie as a musician, fire. Like his music is so fucking good. I listen to it a lot. You know, his stuff is awesome. As a filmmaker, absolutely not. Like, dude, I think you might just want to keep, you know, putting your spooky horror movie background themes in your music.
Exactly. Because honestly, Devil's Reject is the only one that I truly liked. And it still makes me uncomfortable watching it.
Oh, like,
it's not a fun watch.
Right. Right. And I get it. He wants to, you know, he wants to go along the exploitation narrative, and again, you know, that's okay, you know, because exploitation also has its place in horror films. However, you know, there is a point where it's like, A, this is unnecessary, and B, this isn't,
to just do it is
that should, in my opinion, that shouldn't apply to exploitation. If you're gonna be doing an exploitation film, I guess I feel like if you're gonna be doing an exploitation film, there has to be something behind it. But then he needs to go fully
into exploitation, because he's still trying to ride this line of mainstream horror. And if you want your movies to be exploitation like that, then go that route. Right. Don't straddle this mainstream line bullshit. And honestly, I don't trust him with properties that aren't his own, because he so badly fucked up Halloween. I am so terrified for what he's gonna do to the Munsters.
Oh, I don't want to. No.
Terrified. No. I hated the picture that he released where with them in the, like, it's Grandpa Munster, whatever, Herman Munster, whatever. They didn't look quite right, but it's passable.
Of course,
but with Sherry Moon is in that role of Lily Munster. First of all, she does not fit at all. If you want to cast your wife, fine, put her in some other role. I just think getting a comedic actress for the role would have served better, because she's not a good actress. She's just not. She
really isn't. She's not believable in any role that she does. I'm sorry, she just isn't. And you know, that really drags down your movie. It bogs it down, man. You know, and you have to know that when you keep making these movies with your wife. You know, like, it's like, again, I get it, she's your wife, but come on.
And here's the problem, is she said that she doesn't want to act in any other things but his. Girl, go act in some other stuff so you can learn how to act, because
or take some classes.
Whatever he's directing you to do is not working.
You know, which is funny because, like, you know, Rob Zombie, like, he's a good guy.
Right.
You know, like, he
seems like a perfectly nice guy.
Like, he's a vegan, he loves animals, you know, like, I think there's a lot of fucking cool-ass things about Rob Zombie as a person and with his music, but filmmaking is just not his strong point.
You destroyed my movies.
Come on.
my series.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
I hate him so much. Let's move on, because I'm gonna like...
we could go on
I'm gonna
forever.
blow a gasket here, so... blood vessel.
It's all good. All right, we're at the number 1.
We are.
All right, I have to bring this up, and I tried really, really hard not to bring this one up, but I was like, I can't let it go. I'm sorry. It's been in the dark recesses of my mind, and I was like, you know what? I need to work through this trauma. I need to work through it, because it was very traumatizing when I saw this. Creepshow 3.
I get it.
This doesn't even deserve, like, a why. This is just, I'm speechless.
I get it.
Like, who in their right fucking mind said, after they watched everything edited, at like, the final cut of stuff, said, this is a great movie.
Done. Print.
Oh, God. I have no idea what happened here.
Just no words.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened. Especially the segment with the, like, professor and the students. And he's like, they're like, you know, he's being a prankster. He's playing jokes on us while they're, like, tearing him apart. And it's like, it's not even beyond, like, it's cheeky, like, Dale and Tucker, like, versus Evil.
Right.
It's not even, like, on that level, because, like,
No.
Dale and Tucker, like, versus Evil is really, really fun.
Right.
Kind of along the same lines of that comical, you know, oops, we killed someone type of thing. But with Creepshow, it was just weird. It was weird.
All around weird.
Yeah, like,
around.
It didn't flow. Yeah, and honestly, every segment of that fucking movie was... I watched it, and I wanted to cry. And that's not even... I'm not even joking. Like, that's real. Like, that was my real emotion. I was like, what? How? How could you take a movie, or, like, at least the title of a movie so good and so iconic, and then make this? How could you do that?
Dare you?
How could you do that? Like,
dare you?
Especially, you know, I mean, George Romero and Stephen King.
I know.
Why would you do this?
I know.
I'm part of a group on Facebook. It's called Creepshow Fanatics, and there was somebody one day who was like, "Yo, has anyone seen Creepshow 3?" And I commented on it, and I was like, "We don't talk about this movie.
That didn't happen.
We don't talk about, like, this is taboo. We don't talk about this movie." But like I mentioned at the beginning, I have to work through this trauma. I can't just stuff it down. Okay, work through your traumas, guys. Work through your trauma,
right?
Like I am right now.
Right.
Oh, fuck this movie.
For real, like, it's not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination.
All right.
My number 1 is, again, something I'm working through, and I've already done a whole review on this on the news, on Horrorland News, and I've mentioned it several times other places. I cannot contain my hatred for this movie. I saw it just this year for a segment for the news, The Empty Man.
I haven't seen that.
It's not good.
Noted.
Okay, and like I said in my review, for the first 20 to 30 minutes, I really like this movie, but that first 20 to 30 minutes all happens before the goddamn title card. It's like a mini short film that then has very fucking little to do with the whole rest of the movie.
Ew.
Yeah, it's like, in my review, I at the very end, I was like, here's my suggestion. Watch the first 20 to 30 minutes. As soon as the title card comes on, turn it off, movie over. Because that's the better movie. The rest of it, it's a 2.5 hour movie, guys. Like, And it did not need to be that long because there are seriously long periods of time of just watching characters walk around and nothing happens. They don't find anything. Nothing jumps out at them. Nothing. Literally, we watch a whole scene of this detective character getting out of his car, walking through the woods to get to this cabin, and it seriously takes him 5 minutes to walk from his car to this cabin through the woods. And the whole time you're sitting there I was so mad at this point because this is already after a whole bunch of other slow ass bullshit. I was so mad at this point. I was like, something happen. Like, something jump out at him, leaves rustle. Something happen. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing. And this movie does not know what it wants to be.
No.
Ghost story, possession story, detective story, cult story. It's all of those things.
That's too much.
It does not know what it wants to be. The only good part of this movie is that the cult leader is played by Stephen Root. Only good part of this movie. Like, I cannot, you guys. I cannot with this movie. I hate it so much. It's 2.5 hours of my life that I will never get back, and I hate it. I hate it.
You know, it's crazy. Like, you know, you mentioned, like, you know, they're doing nothing for like 5 minutes. You know, I hope this filmmaker knows that you don't have to constantly show what your character is doing or how they're getting to places or how they're getting to, like, you know, like, you don't have to show that.
But he did every time. And it's kind of, I find it funny. But there's this scene that, okay, so there's this character that I called in our review Not Steve. Because he looks like Steve from Stranger Things, but he's not Steve. And I couldn't remember the character's name because I watched this movie for 2.5 hours and, so I called him Not Steve, so I still don't know his name. So Not Steve is going around in his car, and it's a 4-door car, and he's picking up people to go someplace. And seriously, we watch every single stop he makes to pick up more people. And it gets to the point where it is kind of funny, because there's 4 people that start the car. They stop. They pick up someone else. Cool. They go to the next place. Pick up someone else. Cool. Still go to another place to pick up more people. Like 3 times we see them just drive and stop to pick up people. Then they get where they're going. All of these people pile out of this clown car. Then Not Steve comes and opens the trunk. 2 more people in the trunk of the car. Like, it was a really funny scene that wasn't meant to be funny. But it just... It's too much. I can't.
So this is the actor from Stranger Things in this movie?
It isn't. No, it's not Steve. He looks like Steve.
But he looks like
He looks like Steve, and it looks like they wanted him to look like Steve because it's got the big poofy hair and everything. Like, it just
kind of like
it's
a
not
discount store.
Right, it's like dollar store Steve. Like,
oh no.
So I just called him Not Steve the whole time because I didn't remember this kid's name because I just watched 2.5 hours of somebody walking through the goddamn woods. So like, I hate it. I hate it with a fiery passion. I cannot with this movie. Do not watch this. Watch the first. I will say, watch the first part, and as soon as the title card comes on, turn it off, because the first part is a very interesting idea of a short film, and then it just gets destroyed for the next 2 hours.
How long is that first segment for the title
like 20 to 30 minutes.
That's too long.
It's seriously like short film territory.
That's way too long to introduce your title card 20 fucking minutes into a movie.
Because
that's too much.
It is. It's like, okay, it's sort of connected, but you have to really want to connect, and then the character that comes back from that beginning later all the way at the end of the movie doesn't even look like It doesn't even look like the character, or maybe it's just because it's been 2 hours and I don't remember what that character looks like anymore. Yeah. But like, the whole movie, and then it turns out that the whole movie might have taken place in this guy's head. Like,
yeah, no, like that whole title card business, that's way too late to introduce a title card. Like, you have to establish that earlier. That I don't. That, for some reason, that really bothers me, where it's like, you can't do that, because, like, in a way that confuses the audience. You're like, wait a minute, like, just now?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we were watching the movie and I was all into it, and then what happens at the end of the short, I'm going to just call it the short film. What happens at the end of the short film happens, and then it's title card, and it made me realize that we hadn't seen one, because you're all invested in the movie at this point, and then it after the title card becomes an entirely different fucking movie, completely different characters. It takes place in the present because it came out in 2018, but all that first 20 to 30 minute short film takes place in 1995, and then after the title card, it's modern day, and it's all completely different characters.
Christ, what a mess.
Yeah, it's all a mess. And the girl, there's this girl that is a main character, I guess. I hate her. I hate her haircut so much that it's distracting. She's got Dorothy Hamill haircut, and I'm sitting there. Tell me how it's not still 1995 when this girl is seriously sitting here with a Dorothy Hamill haircut. Oof. Are you kidding me? It's distractingly bad how bad her haircut is. I can't. This whole movie pisses me off. It pisses me off.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
I do. I feel like I've been through a trauma.
I have not even actually heard of this movie, and I'm glad that you said something now, because now I'm gonna totally avoid it. So.
You don't need it. You don't need it at all. All right. So thanks for watching, and make sure you like and subscribe in order to get more content from our Notebook TV channel and more episodes of Thanks We Hate It. Next episode we will be talking about
worst kills in horror films.
It's a big topic.
It's a big topic. It's not only a big topic, but it's very sensitive. Very. I'm sure there's.
We're gonna hurt some people probably with our choices.
Oh, so. I have no doubt. Yeah.
But I do for this episode we didn't have any we didn't match.
Yeah, no, I mean it was.
Yeah.
It was pretty all over the board.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes we need that. You know.
So I'm curious to see if we're gonna match next week. But,
right? Oh my god.
Yeah.
This will be fun.
All right. So have a great night, great fight. Thanks for watching. See y'all later.